All right, we're getting you set for Boston College at NC State. There's big Chad Venning, averaging about 13 points per game this season. Second in the ACC in terms of field goal percentage. How about that? Wes Durham, Dan Bonner are on the call in Raleigh. Here's more from the guys.
Thanks very much. Cloudy day in Raleigh as we greet you at the top of the hour from the Lenovo Center with the only meeting of the regular season between Boston College and NC State. With Dan Bonner, Wes Durham, welcome. It was about a year ago that the Atlantic Coast Conference announced the format change. Knowing that there would be 18 teams for basketball in this year's calendar, how would the tournament be staged? Of course, the crown jewel event of the conference through its history, the ACC Men's Basketball Championship, less than a month away now in Charlotte. And the truth is they've gone to a 15-team format. So, Dan, the stakes today are a little interesting for the Eagles and Wolfpack because as we go to the standings, the bottom three are BC, NC State, and Miami.
Wes, you can't make a run like NC State made last year or Virginia Tech made a couple of years ago to win the ACC tournament unless you make the tournament. And these three teams, as you mentioned, right at the moment, they're on the outside looking in, and this becomes a huge game in terms of tiebreakers and everything else. So an awful lot at stake for these two teams this afternoon.
Well, the Eagles have lost 3 straight, 9 of 10. NC State, of course, has lost 9 straight games, 5 of those by 6 or less. But BC's got the hottest player in the league. You may know all about Cooper Flagg and all these other guys, but the hottest scoring player in the league right now is the Eagles' Donald Hand Jr.
Well, and Donald Hand, he's a guy who just goes in the last couple of games. He gets baskets. Really good three-point shooting numbers. Look at those rebounding numbers. So he's scoring, he's rebounding, he's playing defense. And again, he can make the three, he can get in the lane. He is a really tough matchup.
Well, so then it's safe to say Donald Hand is expected to be a handful when we greet you at the top of the hour from Raleigh with the Pack and the Eagles.
Wes, Dan, thank you so much. We'll be back to you in a second. Look who's in the building.
Let's go, DJ. Yo, the Burn.
DJ Burns. I think Coach would probably like to have him back in the lineup today. How about that against Boston College? But unfortunately, he'll just be watching and cheering on his Wolfpack as they try to snap a 9-game skid. For Booze, for Joel, for Luke, I'm Taylor Tannenbaum. Enjoy this one between Boston College and NC State. Wes Durham, Dan Bonner have you on the call. We'll see you at halftime.
Taylor, thanks very much. Welcome to ACC Network Basketball from Raleigh. It's presented for you this afternoon by Food Line. Only meeting of the regular season between the Wolfpack of NC State and the Eagles of Boston College. And with Dan Bonner, Wes Durham, great to have you with us for this ball game here today. And it's going to be interesting because, Dan, both teams desperately want to get a win.
Yeah, they do. Both teams, they continue to play hard, but they've struggled to win. And for Boston College, they have one of the hottest guys, not only in the ACC, but in the country, in Donald Hand. He has played so well, particularly over his last 5 games. This is a guy who's always been able to get into the lane and score. Now he's knocking down threes. He's one of the top rebounding guards in the country. He carries an awful lot of the load for the Eagles.
It's really impressive to see the burn that Hand's been on. Meanwhile, Kevin Keats says it may take our entire community to snap the skid. Well, Trey Parker's increased his residence in the community here lately.
Well, he sure has. This is his last 5 games. Of course, he's led the team in scoring over the last 2. But Wes, he has scored more points in the last 5 games than he did all year before that.
So Trey Parker, he'll come off the bench, but you see the damage he's done here in the last 5. So the Eagles and Wolfpack for a 32nd time here today in Raleigh. NC State's won the last 3 and 5 of the last 6 and 10 of the 14 games played in this building. And the tap is controlled by Big Chad Venning. And here is Roger McFarland, who works with Joshua Beadle, Donald Hand Jr., Dion Brown, and the aforementioned Venning. Earl Grant's teams lost 3 straight, 2 of those by a combined 5 overtime. Beadle dumps for Venning. He'll burrow in on Middlebrooks, can't finish, and the rebound pulled away by Styles. Here's the Pack with O'Connell, the veteran guard. And of course, Jaden Taylor, Marcus Hill, Styles, O'Connell, and Ben Middlebrooks back in the lineup after coming off the bench in the loss to Louisville here on Wednesday night. That ball got knocked away by Brown. It will stay with Wolfpack. 10 to shoot on State's first possession.
Both teams starting in man-to-man. Boston College, very aggressive man-to-man defense. And what you have to do with a guy like Marcus Hill, Jaden Taylor, you got to keep them out of the lane.
Here's Taylor off the inbounds. Hand right there. Now Taylor will flash in the paint. Fall away is good. Over the top of Hand for Jaden Taylor. Dan, he's been struggling last 5 games, all single figures, 31% from the floor, just 6 of his last 19. Here is a steal, and Taylor makes it 4-0.
He's always been noted for his defense, Wes, and he just stripped that ball away. That's a really good sign for the Wolfpack to get this one started.
And as Earl Grant anticipated, NC State doesn't change their stripes, if you will. They're still going to pressure you. It's a defensive-driven program, and there's Taylor knocking it away from Beadle. Last touch by Beadle, says Mark Schnurr. So Jaden Taylor's trying to turn the engine up a notch or two.
He's been very frustrated with his play recently, but there he just knocks that one away. Beadle tries. And Beadle's just got to be more careful with the basketball.
O'Connell out front. Styles thought about the 3. Kick out for Hill. Marcus Hill, 3 straight double-figure games in conference. Middlebrooks, 10 to shoot. O'Connell against Beadle's pressure. Michael on the drive, threw it up, bounces away, and here is Hand. McFarland. And now here's Venning against Middlebrooks. Well, Chad Venning's had a nice year. And he travels there. Middlebrooks is pressuring him defensively. 3rd turnover already on Boston College.
Middlebrooks gave him some physical pressure and then backed off. And as a result, Venning slipped and traveled. Venning, you're right, he's been really good inside, and North Carolina State has had a problem, particularly over their last 2 games, giving up points inside.
Well, this game started in a flurry, hasn't it?
Excuse me, I should say NC State. I got yelled at by Duke Corrigan before the game, and so I told him I would try.
Out front, Taylor, shot fake on a 3, step in 2. Good. Jaden Taylor's got all 6 of NC State's points.
Wes, it's going to be an upset if he finishes in single figures today.
Yep. Here's Deion Brown. He was terrific in Chapel Hill. Had 20 against Carolina. In that overtime loss. Out of the corner, McFarland long with the 3. Brown fighting for it. Taylor wrestled it away and collects. Hesitates, goes to the basket. Left it short, draws the foul. Jerry Heater, who works today with Mark Schnurr and Pat Driscoll, tags Roger McFarland with his first, and the first on the Eagles. So we played 3 minutes at a furious pace.
And the pace is, each team, they don't mind playing this way, but NC State, that's much more into their wheelhouse. They like to get out and go, and certainly the guy who's been leading them in that aspect is Taylor.
He's got 7 now. The first 7 belong to Jaden Taylor. Senior from Indianapolis, comes in averaging just under 11 points in conference play. Does lead NC State in steals per game as well, and he's already added to that total here. Got them both. He's got all 8 of the Wolfpack points. Yeah, if he doesn't hit double figures today, we got big problems. Here is Hand. O'Connell tries to stay with him. Pull up 2 for Donald Hand Jr. cleanly through, and Boston College on the board in just better than 3 minutes of play.
That may be the best part of Hand's game. He's got the strength to get in there, and then he rises up and shoots that mid-range jumper.
Out front, Taylor still looking. Marcus Hill trying to beat Beadle to the spot. Kick out for Taylor. 3 ball away. Bounds away for Taylor. Beadle the rebound. Transfer from Clemson. Looked at Venning. Thrown away to Taylor. Another steal. Here's the bounce pass. Hill the layup.
It's going to be a long day for Boston College if they keep throwing the ball to the guys in the white shirts.
Already 4 Eagle turnovers. And there's a 5th. And that's going to get us to a break. Kevin Keats couldn't have asked for a better start to the script today at home here in Raleigh. Nor could Jaden Taylor. He's doing the scoring, he's doing the stealing, and NC State leads by 8. ACC basketball presented by Food Lion, official grocer of the Atlantic Coast Conference. And both Westmore's women's team and, of course, Kevin Keats and the men's side are wearing their Honoring Black Excellence uniforms designed by Alex Taylor, founder of Hoops New York City, in honor of Black History Month. We saw Louisville's version last Saturday. And we're getting to see NC State's version here today. Sharp-looking white jerseys. And Trey Parker's into the ball game. That's him wearing number 5. Kicks to Taylor. 3-ball. Got it. Jaden Taylor has controlled all the scoring, Dan. He's got 11. He's also got 3 steals, and he's assisted on the other goals. How about that? What a start.
It's an outstanding start, Wes. And Kevin Keats was saying he needed his veteran guys to step up. Well, one of them had.
Yep. And stake the pack to an 11-point lead. Here goes Hand slashing through, and he'll draw the foul from Parker. First on Parker. It'll be the first on the Wolfpack, and free throws coming.
Jaden Taylor recently has struggled to shoot the 3, but this is just a really nice job. He's got himself in position, catch and shoot. He's playing with a lot of confidence. That was a really good pass.
So Donald Hand, who's had 121 points in the last 5 games, knocks down the free throw. You've got to go back to Jerome Robinson, Dan, in 2018 to find somebody that scored more in a 5-game span than Hand has. In fact, in the last 20 years, Donald Hand only trails Jerome Robinson, Olivier Hanlon, and Tyrese Rice for 5-game stretches. Now, you want to talk about 3 cats that could go on a rip.
Absolutely.
Jerome Robinson, of course, is from Raleigh, played at Boston College, terrific player. Olivier Hanlon was a bucket when he walked in the door. And Tyrese Rice played with really talented guys with Al Skinner, but man, he found ways to score too. There's Parker. He's been scoring. Missed off the front rim, knocked out. Taylor the rebound. You see Dennis Parker Jr. did not play the other night. He's on the floor for the first time today. Missed jump shot by Taylor. Middlebrooks the rebound. Couldn't finish it. And Boston College pulls it away with Roger McFarland.
Now, Ben Middlebrooks, I mean, he gets the ball close to the basket. Sometimes he has a tough time finishing.
Hand missing on the jumper. Middlebrooks the rebound. NC State in transition. Here's Hill. In traffic, had it stripped out, got it back. Out front, Taylor, shot fake. Little entry pass from Parker. Here's Middlebrooks. Then with the right hand, scores on Venning. Middlebrooks played 19 minutes off the bench on Wednesday night, had just 4 points and 3 rebounds.
NC State doing anything they want at this point, Wes, on both ends of the court.
11-point lead. Hand splits a double team, drives and scores. 6 for Donald Hand.
Well, that's the only person they've really been able to get open, Wes. But BC's got to dig in here on the defensive end.
Chaz Kelly's come in the ball game. He was defending Trey Parker. Ball screen now for Taylor. Or got knocked away. Middlebrooks recovers it. And a reach and a foul. And it's going to be on Donald Hand. It's going to be his first. It'll be the second. Quick reminder to you tonight at 8 Eastern. At the conclusion of our men's triple header, Nothing But Net breaks down the day and night in the ACC. Highlights, analysis of every game. Looking ahead to the best games coming up next week. It's on ACC Networks and the ESPN app. Presented by T. Rowe Price. Miss at the Wolfpack in from Breon pass, and here goes Payne to the basket and draws the foul. That's Fred Payne, the sophomore from Grambling, Louisiana. And foul is going to be on Trey Parker. That'll be his second. And the second on the Wolfpack. So Trey Parker, who had a lot of success here the other night, 13 against Louisville, 19 out at Stanford last weekend, is in the soup with 2 fouls quickly, and Payne to the line for BC. Free throw good by Fred Payne. He's averaged 10.5 points in the last couple of games for the Eagles.
He's really helped him, Wes. He comes in with a reputation as an all-out effort guy. He can make a three. But they need him. They need him in terms of ball handling and defense, because Josh Beadle, in the first 2 minutes of the game, he had 4 turnovers.
Yep. And he's on the bench for Earl Grant. Breon pass in the ball game. He wears jersey number 4 for the Wolfpack. Now here's Parker. 10 to shoot. Off the screen of Huntley Hatfield. Pass with 6 to shoot. Back for Parker. 3 ball from deep. Good! Trey Parker's 18th triple of the year. He's now 9 of his last 15 from behind the line, Dan.
And that's what he's been doing, Wes, over his last 5 games, coming in and providing that offensive spark.
And there's O'Connell taking it away from Chaz Kelly. Lead pass. And they tried to fire it around. Dennis Parker did for Trey Parker. And it ends up being NC State's first turnover.
Really good ball movement by NC State. And Parker, you have to be able to find him. He just relocates from the middle of the lane out to a place where he can knock down the three, and BC loses it.
Well, we started in such a flurry. Both these coaches have had to get into their benches a little bit here, too. So we're seeing full subs for NC State. Out front, 3 ball missed off the hand of Payne. Here's Dennis Parker leading the break, and he's going to draw a foul in transition from Fred Payne on the reach, or Roger McFarland on the reach. That'll be his second. 3rd on Boston College, but the 2nd on the transfer from Southeastern Louisiana.
Elijah Strong coming in the game, Wes, and so now BC's going with their 2 big guys. They were playing their 4-guard lineup, trying to get some ball handling, and that didn't work out. So now let's see if they can use the 2 big guys to get some baskets inside.
Yeah, the redshirt freshman Jaden Hastings on the floor. Here's Huntley Hatfield. Out of the corner, Parker Jr. misses the 3. Here's Chaz Kelly. High bounce, dribble, score. How about that? Kelly averaging about 3 against the conference. Gets his first points.
Wes, and one thing that people forget, that points in the paint stat, that's just not necessarily a big guy with his back to the basket. That's driving to the goal and finishing, and BC is doing that very well.
Yep. 8.5 gone. State in control. Huntley Hatfield, the turning jumper, and the foul on Hastings. Brandon Huntley Hatfield on the board. Jaden Hastings the foul. That's the 4th on BC. Wolfpack jump to an early advantage, and it's 10 as we get a timeout in Raleigh. Well, Kevin Keats knew Jaden Taylor could be a part of a return of the Wolfpack to excellence, Dan, and he has been today.
Well, he's got 3 steals already in the game, and he got to the point where Josh Beadle, they had to take him out of the game because he couldn't handle the ball. But he's also gotten it done on the defense, on the offensive end. Wes, 11 points. The first time in, 8 games that he scored in double figures.
There you see.
That's a pretty good start. Yeah,
after averaging 7 and shooting just 31%, he's been on a tear here to start. And he's helped the Wolfpack to a 10-point lead as Brandon Huntley Hatfield to go to the line after the foul a moment ago on Hastings. He knocked down the turnaround jump shot. After missing 3 straight games, Huntley Hatfield started the other night at 4 points, 10 rebounds, of which 7 were at the offensive end, and now he's completed a 3-point play for his first points here this afternoon. Chaz Kelly with Fred Payne, Jaden Hastings, Elijah Strong, and Donald Hand Jr. on the floor for Boston College out of the timeout. Taylor's returned with Huntley Hatfield, O'Connell, Stiles, and a push on Huntley Hatfield, and the aforementioned Marcus Hill. 3rd on NC State, 1st on the senior transfer from Clarksville, Tennessee.
Boston College has 6 turnovers, Wes, and only 7 field goal attempts. So it's hard to put the ball in the basket when you're giving it to the other guys.
NC State has 8 field goals made in their first 15 shots. 10 to shoot. Here goes Kelly. Lost his balance on the drive, and Jerry Heater, I think, is going to call Marcus Hill for the foul, his first. 4 on the Wolfpack.
Lost his balance because somebody grabbed him by the arm.
Yeah. Marcus Hill, the transfer from Bowling Green. Another look here.
He had him by the shoulder and pushed him down.
Kelly. O'Connell switching on the screens. Boy, Chaz Kelly took it right at him and scored. Second field goal for the junior from Houston, Chaz Kelly.
Now, Chaz Kelly took the ball and threw it back to Mark Schnur, and Mark Schnur just gave him a warning to delay a game. So the next time that happens, it'll be a technical foul. And it's not just Chaz Kelly, it's anybody.
Right. Styles on the inbounds to O'Connell. And here's Hill for Taylor. See Huntley Hatfield with a high screen for O'Connell. Nice pass in the pocket, and Huntley Hatfield to dunk. The steady hand of Michael O'Connor, Dan.
Well, and that's something that NC State has been lacking. O'Connell hadn't really played very well recently.
Kelly at the other end, an easy drive and score.
And see, part of O'Connell's problem right here is he can't guard Kelly.
Yeah.
And Kelly has been taking advantage of that.
So Chaz Kelly's off of Earl Grant's bench with a half dozen pretty quick. NC State lead, though, still 9 as we reach the midway point of half one here in Raleigh. Hill a spot up 2. Got it. Marcus Hill with 4. Well, NC State hit 11 threes the other night, shot 36% from the floor. They're a sight better. They're just under 59% here in the first 10 minutes and change. And here's a steal. Huntley Hatfield, Hastings to beat, and he's fouled on the dunk. Brandon went for the poster and the statue all in one swing. Because if he sets that down.
Boy, another turnover for Boston College. Kelly just dribbles it off his leg. And this is where North Carolina State is, NC State is at their most effective, Wes, when they can get out and go.
Yep. Huntley Hatfield with 5 early, now a couple of free throws. He's 78% at the line this year, 1 for 1 today. At the 2 for 2. Largest lead now the half. And Luka Taves has checked in for Boston College. He wears jersey number 10. He's a freshman from Tokyo. Has not scored in his last 4 appearances.
I think Earl Grant is just looking for somebody who can handle the ball.
Yep. And Huntley Hatfield hits them both. NC State's got 11 points off BC turnovers. There have been 7 of them for the Eagles. And here is Taves, who played at the Newman School in Boston. And there's a backcourt foul on Taylor. Now Luka Taves, if you say, wait a second, that's T-O-E-W-S. Yeah, that's the same way the NHL star Jonathan Taves spells it. That is his cousin, by the way.
Ah, okay.
Who was a Stanley Cup champion. Among his other credits, perennial NHL All-Star. He's Jonathan Taves. Here's Hand on the drive, and it got blocked by Taylor. Hand cleaned it up and scored. 8 for Donald Hand Jr.
Hand is an outstanding rebounder from the guard spot.
Yep. Here's Breon pass. Taylor quickly left side, Styles. On the drive against Strong. Fall away. Dropped in off the front rim. First basket for Dontrez Styles.
The Wolfpack has had problems shooting the ball at times this year, Wes, but certainly not in this first half.
Nope. Taves to work. Off the screen by Venning. Dumps it back to him. Chad with traffic in front. Still went to the basket. Knocked away with 10 to shoot. No reset of the shot clock. Hand now on Taylor. Fall away too strong. Missed everything. Pass, a rebound of the air ball. Styles almost traveled. Gets it back. 3 away. Spins out. Hill the rebound inside the foul on the Eagles.
Taves is the guy that got it.
Yep. First on Taves. 6 on BC. Watch this, Dan. Watch the top of the screen there. Watch Kevin Keats here. Hey, go. Little hot step. I don't even see Jeff Anderson officiating.
I was going to say, Jeff Anderson would be proud of that.
Middlebrooks has returned to play inside. Back for pass. 10 to shoot, and Taylor working against Deion Brown now. Brown went for the fake. Taylor the step away. Middlebrooks trying to keep it alive, and Styles scrambles for it. And here's Taylor. He's got a pass. Skips for pass. Quick dump down for Hill. Strong to the basket and fouled by Venning. Chad Venning will pick up his first. It's the 7th on Boston College. We get free throws and a 13-point Wolfpack lead when we come back to Raleigh on ACC Network. Welcome back to Raleigh, and it's ACC Unity Week. The ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified February 13th through 23rd as ACC Unity Week. 29-16, NC State ahead of Boston College with Dan Bonner, Wes Durham, Marcus Hill. Reached 1,000 career points on Wednesday against Louisville. Of course, almost 700 of them came as a Bowling Green State Falcon. And the free throw there bounces out for Hill, senior from Rockford, Illinois, who's got a couple of field goals to his credit. 9th best field goal shooter in the ACC coming in. He went 0 for 2 there. Guess we shouldn't have talked about the 1,000 points.
No, I'm talking about the 1,000 points is fine. He's an 83% free throw shooter in conference play.
Taves is running the offense here for Earl Grant the last couple of exchanges. This is big Chad Venning. He can't find it.
He has yet to make a field goal, Wes. In fact, that's only his 2nd attempt.
Out of the corner, Styles left it short. Lead is 13 with the Wolfpack. And less than 7.5 to go in the opening 20 minutes. NC State's lost 5 straight ACC home games after winning their first 2. 3 ball away, no good, and we're going to get a foul here underneath on Deion Brown. And Brown, the transfer from Maryland, Baltimore County, 8th team foul against Boston College. And first on the young man, averaging 8.5 against the league. So Michael O'Connell, who is 66% at the free throw line, will go to the strike. Front end of the 1-and-1 for the Wolfpack senior. And he left it on the iron. Wow, it's 3 in a row missed by NC State.
Let's see if Boston College can take advantage, Wes. They have really struggled on the offensive end.
First little slow vibe we've seen from the Wolfpack on offense here, Dan, right?
Well, their defense has been dominant in the game, and that's been getting them good shots.
Into the corner, Brown cuts it loose. Can't hit the wide open 3. O'Connell for Taylor. Wide open in the corner for Hill. Missed the 3 there. Styles makes the save. Tried to throw it out for Taylor. Taken away by Payne. Hill spot for 3. Badly.
Problem is, when you shoot one of those in transition and miss it that badly, that allows your opponent to get out and go.
They're just exchanging misses now. And a foul, I believe, on Styles, or no, out of bounds is the call on Taves, who I wasn't sure if he was jostled or not by Dontrez Styles. Luka Taves couldn't control it, so it'll go back to NC State. And here comes Paul McNeil into the lineup for NC State, the 6'5" freshman from Rockingham, North Carolina, who had a season-high 12 here against Louisville the other night. McNeil, a highly thought-of, prolific scorer. And Styles missing the 3. McNeil tried to knock it out and commits the foul. 6th foul on NC State, the first on McNeil. Here's the way the bench production. Trey had 13, Pass a dozen, Paul McNeil a dozen. Now, Dan, Paul McNeil, not saying he could score. He broke a 73-year record in the state of North Carolina, including he had 71 in a state playoff game against Lee County. There's a kick, and a possession will stay with Boston College.
Well, Wes, it's really interesting. This time of the year, most coaches are shortening their rotation, but Kevin Keats is expanding his because he's just looking for help.
the baseline and thrown away. Another turnover. Ahead of the pack is McNeil. Layup good. And a steal by McNeil. Taylor a three. Spun out. Good heady play at the defensive end by McNeil. 13 points off BC turnovers. And Boston College has none off when NC State has coughed it up, and that's just but twice here in this first half. And there's a foul out on the perimeter.
That's really a good pitch ahead by O'Connell. And then he hits the stanchion and just comes right back in and takes the ball.
Well, and now he's committed a second foul, so Paul McNeil literally the cup of coffee. And he'll pick up his second with 5:26 to go. And 1-1 it will be on NC State's foul here. And the free throw is good for Deion Brown. Don't forget a triple header of ACC basketball for you next weekend. We'll start our coverage in Chestnut Hill, 2 o'clock Eastern time with Georgia Tech and Boston College, presented by Food Line. Then Dan and I'll be in Dallas. Clemson's got the week off after their win today at Florida State. They'll meet SMU, who hosts Wake Forest later tonight at Moody Coliseum, and then Virginia Tech, Miami, our triple header on ACC Network next Saturday.
Boy, that SMU Wake game later tonight is a huge game for both teams and for the conference.
Yep, sure is. Here's O'Connell with just ahead of 5 to go. In traffic, couldn't finish. Middlebrooks rounds in. Taylor on the kick out three. Got it! Jaden Taylor has been terrific. 14 points in this first half. He had 11 of their first 13. Kelly on the drive. Tough shot in the basket for Chaz Kelly.
And to be honest, that's been Boston College's best offense. Kelly driving the ball to the goal.
Four and a half to go.
BC drops back into his zone.
Kick out left side, Styles. And the rebound pulled away by Elijah Strong, who's playing back in his home state. Sophomore from Charlotte.
Boston College just did something to change the pace on the defensive end. Let's see what they can do on the offensive end.
There goes Kelly. He'll feed Strong. Couldn't finish. Venning comes away with it. Right hand jump hook rolls off, but a foul nonetheless. I believe it's on Breon Pass. 8th on NC State, first on the senior from Reedsville.
Been a very frustrating first half for BC. Strong had the ball like 2 inches from the basket and couldn't get it in.
Yeah. Venning had a season-high 21 in the double overtime loss to Notre Dame the other night.
Well, that's his first point today.
It is. Yep. He's the second best field goal shooter in the ACC at 55%, Dan. And he hit the second. He's a really good find.
Oh, absolutely.
Out of St. Bonaventure. You lose Quentin Post, you got to find somebody. And he has helped offset the loss of Post, who is playing in the Utah Jazz organization now. Under 4 to go, Hill. Oh, nice spin into traffic, and Venning swatted it. Here's Brown. Now Kelly. Trying to use the screen. Strong gave it a quick look. And then threw it away, trying to go to Venning. Here is pass ahead, layup. Parker had it blocked, and he's fouled. So Dennis Parker Jr. is going to get to the free throw line. It's a 12-point lead for the Wolfpack. Just less than 3.5 to go. Opening frame in Raleigh on ACC Network.
Taylor Tannenbaum hanging out in studio with this trio of national champs. Coming up at halftime, we'll recap this first half in Raleigh, but Clemson continues to roll. But despite Chase Hunter going 0 from the field and a bubble battle in Dallas, SMU and Wake will preview it. Wes, who you got in that one?
You know what? Dan's right. It is a in fact, the next 2 Saturdays in Dallas are pretty big for both SMU and certainly Wake Forest here tonight.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing with Wake Forest, they got to go on the road to SMU, and somehow they have to be able to recover from that debacle they had the other night.
Free throws for Dennis Parker Jr. And the first one no good. The way the other night ended in Winston-Salem, I'll be really interested to see what the Deacon mentality is today in Dallas, because you and I both know Andy Infield's group can light a fuse quick on you.
Yeah, they sure can. And that kind of a loss is one that Wake Forest has won the Wake Forest had. That can ruin you for the next 2 or 3 games. So really important that Wake be right mentally.
Yeah. And oh boy. In the cylinder is the foul here against Michael O'Connell. Now O'Connell's going to be a little worse for the wear here. He's the one that took the forearm across. But Dan, immediately the signal from Pat Driscoll was a cylinder violation against O'Connell. Take us through it.
Well, the contact.
Previous play is under review.
You know, they're looking at that, and that contact was, you know, he's coming low to high, and generally when the contact is vertical like that, when you have a cylinder foul, it's not going to be a flagrant foul, although it could be. So they're looking at that. So the foul's on O'Connell, but you could have a flagrant foul on Hand as well.
It's the 9th on NC State.
Wes, and you want to know what the cylinder is? Just imagine this. Stand out on the court and have your feet about shoulder width apart. Put the basketball in front of you. I don't know.
And take a cylinder all the way to the ceiling, right?
Well, no, you put the, you hold a basketball, and you hold the basketball with your arms at a 90-degree angle, and you hold the basketball in front. And your cylinder, you trace from the front of that basketball all the way around in a circle. And so my cylinder would be bigger than yours because I got more in the back than you do. And so that's the area where you can't invade that space. Now, if you do invade that space, that doesn't give the offensive player the right to elbow you.
Right.
And what the officials normally look at, if the contact occurs with the elbow coming from down to up or from up to down, that's one thing. But if it's a horizontal thing, then generally they rule that to be a flagrant foul. And when I originally saw that, I thought it was more vertical up and down. But as I looked at it, they would be well within their rights to rule this a flagrant 1 foul.
And Pat Driscoll, you just saw the hand motion. And that's kind of probably where the tipping point is here, wouldn't you think?
Yes.
The call on the floor stands. It's a cylinder foul against North Carolina State. 1-1.
So 1-1 will be the free throw exchange for Donald Hand Jr.
Okay, they spent a lot of time with that, Wes, and as I say, my initial thought was that's not a flagrant foul, and that's exactly what they ruled.
8.5 for Hand.
I've always had trouble with that because if a guy gets in the cylinder and creates contact, it just doesn't really seem fair to make a call flagrant foul on the other guy.
Yeah. So here is the young man who was the 6A MVP in the Commonwealth of Virginia. That rolled around and went in. A little dramatic, I thought, for the front end of a 1-and-1, but nonetheless it counts.
Well, you take your drama where you can get it, Wes.
Just ahead of 3 minutes to go in this first half. Remember now,
Boston College, Wes, with 3:13 left, they really need to get back closer. They need to draw NC State a little bit closer to them. If you can make this like a 6-point deficit at halftime, then if your BC as poorly as you played in this first half, that would be a very successful outcome.
10-point lead for the Pack. And here's O'Connell with Kelly on the floor. Now to pass against Brown. He'll fire for 3 and hit. Breon pass. 19th triple of the year.
And that's what he's able to do, Wes. If he comes in the game and he knocks down a couple of threes, and that's really big time.
Out front, there's Hand missing on a 3. Rebound for Dennis Parker. Ahead for Marcus Hill. Slapped off the glass by Hastings. McFarland the other way for the Eagles. Hand lost it on the drive, turned it over.
I thought that was the right pass to Hand in transition, but BC's just really forcing it on the offensive end. Hastings does a great job catching up to this play. No question about that one.
Jaden Hastings has turned into the best shot blocker the Eagles have seen in about 20 years. You got to go all the way back to Sean Williams in the 04-05 season to find a guy who has posted block shots like Jaden Hastings has. He leads them in conference play with 16, by the way. That was coming into today. And there's another one. Now, I'm going to give you a stat here. That is his 10th game of the year with 2 or more blocks. That's the best since Sean Williams had 16 of them there in the 2004-2005 season.
And Wes, interestingly enough, he doesn't really play all that many minutes.
Correct. Now we get the Kim Pomeroy blocks per minute, he'd be amazing. And that ball is off the back iron. And here is Payne. Under 2 to go. 13-point lead after the pass triple. A moment ago, now Hand and the Eagles. Dan told you single digits would be a big deal going to the locker room if you're Earl Grant. They've been playing uphill from the jump. Hand out of the corner. Got it. Triple from Donald Hand. He's now got 13 in the first half.
And Wes, we showed you before the game, over his last 5 games, he's shooting 44% from out there.
So in your mind, they need a stop and a score here.
Absolutely.
Middlebrooks to Taylor, who helped the Wolfpack get off to a terrific start today. Taylor against Hand. 10 to shoot. Now Hill into traffic. A block is called. So the blocking call will be on Hand, and that's his 3rd with 71 seconds to play.
Now, he never left the floor, so that's not one of those airborne shooter plays. He just never got in position.
And Dan, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze on that one right there for Donald Hand.
I would agree with you. You got to understand the situation. You can't be in foul trouble.
And the free throw good for Hill. Marcus Hill now with 5 in this first half. We're going to have to go back and do some accounting here because they have Donald Hand with 2 fouls, not 3. We'll see if we can get it adjusted. Strong got one of Hand's.
Well, if he's got 3 fouls, he's got to come out of the game.
No,
but obviously
he does not.
Okay.
Elijah Strong should have been awarded a foul. We inadvertently accounted for Donald Hand. So we got our return straight here as we close in on the final minute of this first 20. There's Hand on the drive. And now it's a 12-point game, and the Wolfpack in transition. And Breon pass and one. What a terrific bounce pass. Pardon the pun, to Breon pass.
Well, again, Donald Hand forces a shot, and sometimes when you take a bad shot, that gives your opponent the opportunity to go out and go. And that's an outstanding pass to pass. And Wes, that is a really tough finish. He's noted for his 3-point shooting, but good heavens, that's a tough finish.
So Breon pass with 5 and a chance to make it 6. He's 11 of 13 at the line this year. And he completes the 3-point trip. Nice first half again for Breon pass, off a dozen the other night.
And Boston College did have an opportunity to cut it to single digits, but now it's back out to 15.
There's a hand check on Dennis Parker. That'll be 2 free throws coming for the Eagles with 44.9 to go.
Kevin Keats has to be very happy with the way his team has played defense today. They've been very aggressive.
Yep.
They've had Boston College back on their heels since the start of the game.
Chaz Kelly for the first to 2. And the free throw good. Don't forget Thursday night, ladies night here on ACC Network. Women's basketball doubleheader will start in Central New York. Carolina visits Syracuse at 6, and then Virginia Tech hosts Stanford at 8, right here on ACC Network, streaming live on the ESPN app. Kelly's in the double figures for the Eagles. He's got 10 in this first half. Donald Hand Jr.'s got 13. 13 points is the difference for NC State. Marcus Hill weaving through. Here's Taylor. Jaden trying to get by Fred Payne all the way to the basket, blocked by Hastings, but I think the foul's going to be on Payne. That'll be the first on Payne. 2 free throws for Jaden Taylor. Jaden Taylor started this game like it was going to be his night. And it still might be.
It's been a pretty good night.
I'd say so. He's got 14 in the first half to lead all scorers. He also had 3 steals, I think, early in the ball game, too.
Well, had 3 steals in the first minute of the game.
Yep. He's still credited with 3 steals. He's got 3 rebounds, 17 minutes of play. He's added another point on the free throw there. Very Bonner-like first half for Jaden Taylor.
Well, he doesn't have enough fouls.
Doesn't have enough fouls. Yeah, that's it. 15-point lead, stolen by Middlebrooks. Boy, oh boy. And then turned back over to Kelly. A rare giveaway, the Wolfpack's 3rd turnover this first half. Boston College has turned it over 13 times. And a timeout to use it or lose it for Earl Grant with 5.5 seconds left. And I tell you this, the 48-year-old head coach of the Eagles going to have a small prayer meeting over there. We'll be back in a second. Well, Earl Grant and Boston College are not going to be able to get the deficit to single digits before the half, but they can at least feel better about themselves if they get a bucket here with 5.6 to go.
Wes, those turnover numbers are really the story of the game. Boston College, they've given up 44 points, but that's because with their turnovers on the offensive end, they've put so much pressure on their defense. And North Carolina State, they've really taken advantage.
Here's Hand, 4 seconds. Taylor trying to defend, Hand into traffic, lost it. Marcus Hill, and that won't count by pass. Half is over, and NC State controlled it stem to stern, Dan.
Absolutely, and that's typical of what we saw, the turnover.
Boy, Jaden Taylor started hot. 16 points in the first half for NC State. Donald Hand's got 13 for the Eagles, who find themselves down by 15 at the break. Up to our ACC Network studios we go with the 3 rings. Here's Taylor Tannenbaum.
Thank you, Wes. Unfortunately, I don't have a ring. We're still waiting on that. I'm Taylor Tannenbaum inside the Bristol studios with my trio of national champions, Carlos Boozer, Joel Berry II, and Luke Hancock. Right now, NC State with a 15-point lead at halftime on their home floor in the midst of a 9-game losing streak. So they obviously want to snap that. What are they doing so well against the Eagles right now?
Well, defensively, they've been really good. Only gave up 29 points to BC in that first half. I think that's where it has to start with NC State. But you get Marcus Hill rolling like this, you get Jaden Taylor rolling like this, the offense starts to come together. 44 points looks great. The shooting splits are good. I just like the intentionality with them. Defense creating easy buckets on the offensive end.
Yeah, and NC State struggles in the half-court offense, so being able to create some of those easy baskets, getting out on the break, getting ahead of the defense. But the story is Boston College. They have to do a better job of taking care of the ball, getting better shots, moving the ball against this NC State defense and being able to take on that pressure. But NC State came out hot, and they continue that throughout the rest of the half.
13 points off turnovers for NC State, 0 for BC.
That's the game right there. I love what Donald Hand Jr. is doing. He's playing outstanding for his team, but Taylor's cooking up. The NC State defense doing a great job of turning defense into offense.
Yeah, 14 turnovers for Boston College for those 13 NC State points, like Luke mentioned. Meanwhile, back in Raleigh, I don't know what Jaden Taylor ate for breakfast or lunch. Maybe it's the salmon and broccoli you guys are about to have for lunch. But he has 16 points in the first half for the Pack. They're up 15 at halftime. Be back with more after the break. Donald Hand Jr. has averaged 24 points over the last 5 games for the Eagles. He already has 13 in the first half for his squad. They're still down, though, by 15 on the road. We'll see what happens in the second. Wes Durham, Dan Bonner have you the rest of the way.
Welcome back to Raleigh. Second half of ACC Network basketball presented for you today by Food Lion. NC State with a 15-point lead on Boston College as we rejoin you from the Lenovo Center. Great to be with Dan Bonner. Wes Durham, thanks for being a part of our basketball Saturday here in the ACC. I don't know that Kevin Keats could have asked for a better start to the ball game today.
I certainly don't know how he could, Wes. They went out and they dominated Boston College defensively. They were able to get out in transition. They were able to make baskets. I mean, this is a really good first half played by North Carolina, played by NC State.
The guy who started it was Jaden Taylor of the Wolfpack too, Dan. He was phenomenal both ends of the floor.
Well, he had 3 steals right off the bat. He just knocked that one away from Josh Beadle. and then he goes and converts the basket, and then the very next possession, he knocks it off Josh Beadle's foot, and then the possession after that, he steals it again, and then he makes a three. I mean, he's made two three-point baskets in this game. For his 5 field goals, he's 4 for 4 from the line. He's got a couple of rebounds, got the 3 steals, got an assist. And Donald Hand is doing what he can, but you know, it's just really tough. They're able to get in the lane, but again, this is good pressure by the Wolfpack, and so even though Hand is able to score, he has to work very hard to do it.
Donald Hand Jr., 13 points on 9 shots from the floor. And the steals and the turnovers, big part of NC State's artillery in the first 20 minutes as the Wolfpack has the ball and the 15-point lead. Original starters out there for both schools. Well, beg your pardon, Kelly has come on the floor to replace Beadle as Hill burrows into the lane and scores. 8 for Marcus Hill on his 3rd field goal.
That was a very bad start for Josh Beadle. I'd be surprised if we saw him again.
Yeah. McFarland, hard drive left of the lane against Styles.
And they just have not been able to get the ball to Venning.
Here's Hand, 3 ball away. Styles collects. O'Connell and the Wolfpack. Well, if they can start the second half like they started the game, that'd be bad news for Earl Grant. Rolled off the iron, McFarland the rebound.
I think Boston College absolutely has to get Venning involved.
Yeah. Here's the big fella against Middlebrooks. Skip out for Hand. Takes off to the baseline. In traffic, put it up, foul. And going to be on Dontrez Styles. It'll be his first of the half on Kevin Keats' club. And Donald Hand Jr. will go to the line. 13 in the first half. And of course, ACC history. His dad, of course, played at Virginia late 90s into the 21st century and averaged 12.5 points. They became the first father-son to receive ACC Player of the Week honors this year.
So now Donald Hand Jr. has received his 2nd one.
Yeah.
His dad only had the 1.
Remember 2 years ago, he had an injury and it ended up being redshirt. Last year, and we were talking about this with Earl Grant, he kind of slowly, remember they had Jaden Zachary on the floor, they had other guys out there, and it was, he didn't really play a lot until Dan double-figure minutes, 8 of his last 10 games. And even when you have a tough year, you can't discount that last quarter, last third of a regular season and what it might mean the next year to a player, right?
And BC didn't have a tough year last year. They won 20 games.
Yeah. Yeah, Eagles went to the NIT a season ago for Grant. They finished 11th. By the way, don't forget that. They finished 11th in a 15-team ACC with 20 wins. There's a spot up by Hill. Front rim miss. Venning a nice box out of Middlebrooks.
And the other thing I think Boston College needs to do is they need to get down the court quicker and score in transition. There's not very many easy baskets against this NC State defense.
To shoot for Hand, way out front. And Donald Hand, quite frankly, has gotten off to a tough start from the floor here at the front end of the second half. He's 0 for 2. After being 4 for 9 in the first half. Middlebrooks was left open. The bench wanted him to pull the trigger. He wanted to get it to O'Connell and let him shoot. Michael O'Connell on the board.
All right, you take Middlebrooks' opinion there instead of the bench.
The bench was hyped up about a 3 from Big Ben. They didn't get it. Michael O'Connell obliges with just his 20th 3 of the year. Lead is 18. Feels like a bad danger zone here for BC, Dan, early in half 2, doesn't it?
Well, it really does. And again, they're having to work so hard for anything that they get.
Kelly back for Venning, and he dunks it home. Might have interfered with it, not sure.
Now that would have been typical of the way things have gone for BC today.
Sure would have. almost 4 minutes gone, and Taylor stripped and fouled. 16:41 to go. Foul will be on McFarland. It's his third. It's the first of the half on Boston College. Jaden Taylor's going to get a couple of free throws.
Taylor's made all 4 of his free throws today.
Yep, he's got 16, had it all in the first half. So the senior from Indianapolis, who played 65 games in 2 years at Butler. And the first one goes down. We told you at the top, here are the stakes now for BC and NC State. This is the bottom 8 of the league. Miami lost today at Pitt, so they're 2-12. The winner of this will move closer to Syracuse. You see the 5-2 difference, that 3-game difference in the win column as the day started. Dan, that is a big number with 3 weeks left to go.
It is a big number, and what you have, if whoever wins this game, since it's the only time these 2 teams play this year, will have the tiebreaker if it comes to that.
Yeah. Here's Kelly on the drive, and a whistle on a foul there on a ball that got jarred loose. And I think Middlebrooks, his first, second on the Wolfpack.
The Wolfpack defense has been so aggressive that Boston College is really having a hard time running their stuff. That the NC State defense has forced them into playing one-on-one, which is a reason why Venning isn't handling the ball very much.
Here's Venning, burrows down, just blasts Middlebrooks and scores. 6 points now for Chad Venning from Brooklyn. 50-35. Hill picked up on his dribble. Each team scored 6 points here in the second half. And almost the first 4 minutes. Fall away by Taylor. Good.
Wow.
Jaden Taylor now with 19.
And he's having himself a game.
Yep. He had 18 against Cal. 19 today. That's an ACC high for Jaden Taylor. Venning will fall away, and another foul on Middlebrooks will be his second. That'll get us to a timeout. Free throws for BC on the other side after Middlebrooks picked up his second foul. But Jaden Taylor started the game hot, and right now he's helping the Wolfpack keep the Eagles at beyond arm's reach. NC State by 17 when we continue from Raleigh. Back in Raleigh, they do a terrific job here at NC State, recognizing basketball alumni every time we seem to visit Lenovo Center. And today, a little extra special. DJ Horn, Casey Morsell, and DJ Burns. Of course, off the ACC Championship and Final Four team a season ago for Kevin Keats are in the building. And nice to see the banners celebrating last year's tournament title and ride to Phoenix. Venning hits the free throws. Chad Venning now with 5.5, make it 6 and 8 in the ball game.
And Boston College, Wes, for all the things they've done poorly today, they've made all 16 of their free throws.
Shooting it like Kuzi. Like he used to coach him. In fact, he coached Boston College the first time these 2 teams ever played, Dan. Bob Cousy was the coach. Here's Huntley Hatfield. He got fouled by Venning on the way up. 2 shots for Brandon Huntley Hatfield. I don't think Chad thought it was much of a foul, but enough for Mark Schnurr to blow the whistle.
Wes, it's really hard to reach in like that when the guy is going up for the shot. If he can reach in on the dribble, that's one thing, but referees rarely allow that.
Another triple header for you next Saturday on ACC Network. The Eagles will be at Conte Forum. Welcome Georgia Tech, presented by Food Lion at 2 o'clock. I think we're excited about our first visit down to Dallas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, SMU Clemson at 4. Bonner and I will be there with the former president of the United States, I suspect, and then the Hokies and Canes wrap us up from Watsco Center next Saturday night, 6 o'clock on ACC Network.
Well, he's a big fan.
He is a consistent attendee at the Moody Coliseum.
And if you're going to go to a game, the Clemson game would be one to go to.
Yeah, right. Today and next Saturday, right? That Duke visit. And there's a nice pass. Benning to catch and flush. Oh, what a good look from Chaz Kelly. 8.5, 10 in the game for Benning.
He actually lost control of that ball, Wes, and was still able to poke it where it needed to go.
Three ball by Hill. And the rebound comes away for Hand. So it's 15 with 14 and change to go here in Raleigh.
That three is the weakest part of Hill's game, so a nice defense that time. Boston College avoided the mismatch inside.
Here's Benning working on Huntley Hatfield. Right hand jump hook, good. Chad Benning starting to heat up here, Dan.
He's not getting down inside on the block and playing with his back to the basket. He's catching it out by the foul line and dribbling into the lane.
Last 10 for the Eagles belong to the big man from Brooklyn. Well, felt like a danger zone a moment ago now. BC, this might be the run. Earl Grant's trying to get his team back in contention. It was almost 20. Here's O'Connell with 4 to shoot. Fouled by Kelly.
And Wes, what we just saw was a continuing theme that we've seen the entire game, and that is Boston College is able to force a difficult shot, but they commit a foul.
So O'Connell will go to the line after the first on Chaz Kelly. There's the Benning dunk. And then here's the jump hook, too, against Huntley Hatfield.
Again, what we're saying is taking the ball near the foul line and dribbling it down to the basket. And that's a tough shot he just made.
Free throw by Michael O'Connell, good. He has 4 all in the half. And Luka Taves back into the ball game for Boston College. First time we've seen him in the second half. And here comes the fire starter from the other night, Trey Parker, the 6'1" freshman from Fayetteville, North Carolina. And O'Connell hit both free throws.
Well, the Pack have played 10 guys, and only Dennis Parker Jr. hadn't scored.
Yeah. But he did good things defensively when he was in the first half, right? Dennis Parker Jr. on the floor now. He wears number 11 for State. That ball got knocked away. Jaden Taylor, another hand in the passing lane, and a foul on Brown. That'll be the 4th on the Eagles and the 3rd on Deion Brown here in the second half.
Benning trying to make a spectacular play, Wes, and you really didn't need it. You need the easy play. Just every time you think Boston College might be ready to climb back in, they turn it over or they commit a foul.
15th turnover, Dan, on BC today.
And interestingly enough, we've played 6.5 minutes. That's their first turnover in the second half.
And NC State's got 13 points off the 15 turnovers. O'Connell off the Huntley Hatfield pick. Nice pass. Brandon the catch and score. Good pass, Michael O'Connell.
And that's what we're used to seeing from O'Connell, a guy who finds his teammates. He struggled over the last couple of games.
Here's Taves. Working against Parker. Catch and shoot by Hand. Got it. Oh, boy. We looked right down the barrel with him there, didn't we?
Absolutely. And that didn't look like there was very much going on for BC. A lot of dribbling, but Hand just finally cuts to the top. NC State lost him that time.
18 now for Donald Hand Jr. Skip into the corner. Here's Parker trying to squeeze around Strong. Gets it to Huntley Hatfield. He'll spot up. Rattled out for Hand's rebound.
See, Boston College needs to push.
O'Connell went for the steal. Payne. Back for Hand, and a foul on Taylor will be his second, just the 3rd of the half on the Wolfpack.
What a dangerous pass that was. I thought O'Connell had it.
Yep. So Taylor will go out. Marcus Hill will check back in for NC State. Jaden Taylor now with 19 in the game. His season high is 22. His career high 28 a year ago against Pitt. Luka Taves to put it in play, and finally a timeout had to be called. Wow. So we'll step aside. Earl Grant didn't want to give it away again. His team trails 14 in Raleigh when we continue. the ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with their member institutions, have identified February 13 through 23 as ACC Unity Week. And we rejoin you from Raleigh. NC State leading Boston College by 14. Somebody snaps a streak today. Here's Benning with a left hand over Taylor out of the timeout. Chad Benning's having quite a second half. He's got a dozen. In fact, he's got all but 5 of the Eagles' points. Here's the second half.
They're throwing in the ball.
Here's O'Connell, and he's bumped and fouled by Benning on the perimeter. That'll be 3 on Chad Benning, 5 on BC.
And that's a foul if you're Venning. You just can't get that one. He's a veteran player. You can't be fouling O'Connell that far from the basket.
Yep.
He's going to come out of the game, Venning.
Jaden Hastings to the table for Earl Grant across the way. Here goes Parker. Kick out for Marcus Hill's lefty 3. Off the mark. Fred Payne the rebound. And 8 minutes gone, second half, and the Eagles trail a dozen. Kind of right back in that neighborhood again here, Dan. They've been here once or twice. NC State's pushed them back each time. Strong the miss. Payne couldn't handle the rebound. Last touch by the Eagles. And that will get us to a timeout. 11:39 to go in the ball game in Raleigh. Wolfpack by a dozen. Well, another busy 8-game schedule in the ACC today. Clemson already a winner, Dan. 26-point win in Tallahassee. Dylan Hunter was 17. Ian Shefflin a double-double. Pitt got 21 points and 10 rebounds from Ish Leggett. No Jalen Lowe in the lineup today for Jeff Capel. They beat Miami. And Virginia Cavaliers trying to even the Commonwealth clash with the Hokies, who won by a point at Charlottesville a couple weeks ago.
And that's not normal for those teams to win on the road.
Nope. Usually the home guy has a clear advantage. Parker for 3. Nope. And Hastings the rebound of the miss for BC. Eagles to within 12. Hadn't been able to cut it to single digits in a long, long time. They've gotten in this neighborhood, hadn't been able to carry it over. 11 minutes to play. Cal and Georgia Tech follow us in game 2 of our ACC Network Hoops triple header today. Taves at the foul line. Leaner blocked and recovered by Hill. Here's Trey Parker. He will lob and lay it up. Does Dennis Parker.
Taves is in the game, Wes, and so I don't have any objection to him shooting the ball. But I don't think Taves can shoot the ball on a possession where Donald Hand hadn't touched it.
Here's Hastings for Payne. Back inside, Hastings the catch, and the rebound for Huntley Hatfield. Taylor
wants his guys to go.
Yeah, Jaden Taylor's been the guy today for the Wolfpack. Spot up at 18 feet, bounced out.
If BC's going to make a move, Wes, they got to start it soon.
Here's Hand. He'll touch it this time and draw a foul. And I think that is 3 on Jaden Taylor. Jerry Heater out from underneath, and in fact, it is on Taylor.
Now that doesn't count as a turnover or a steal, Wes, but that block shot is the same thing as a steal. Really nice fast break as well. North Carolina, NC State has been able to get out and do that.
3rd foul on Jaden Taylor, 5th on the Wolfpack. Here's Donald Hand at the line. And he knocks down his 3rd free throw of the half. So he now has 6 in the half and 19 in the game. And the Eagles are perfect at the strike. So watch this. Yep, every time. Tell you what, we're responsible sitting right over here for all of that. Make no mistake.
We are responsible for nothing.
That's exactly right. My whole point, I was being very sarcastic.
Okay.
Under 10 to go. Yep, BC hit 17 in a row till old Durham started talking about it. And that ball got kicked out of there. Kick saving a beauty. Usually the ice is down when things like that happen. Here's Taylor. Oh, he had an alley. Oh, bounce pass. Parker had it blocked by Hastings. And the held ball is going to go to Boston College. And Jaden Hastings, if nothing else, has got terrific timing. This is not an easy play either way, and that is perfect timing, Dan, defensively.
Well, it's perfect timing, Wes, and he uses his body very effectively. He's able to go straight up in the air and put his hand out there to block the shot, but fire in with his body.
Third block shot for Hastings here today. And the lead still 13 for the Wolfpack. That got swatted out. And trying to score in tight. Look at Trey Parker running the offense and another alley-oop. Oh my goodness.
Well, no blocking that one.
Nope. And DJ Burns sitting here to our right might have live streamed the whole thing. Wolfpack got it in gear and finished with the flush. Here's Payne with 7 to shoot and a foul on NC State. Watch Trey Parker.
Boy, Wes, that is a really interesting pass.
Up for grabs is what it was. And look at Burns documenting everything. Middlebrooks' his third foul a moment ago. That is 6 on the Pack with 8:45 to go in a 15-point lead. Kick out 3, rolls in for Elijah Strong. First points for the sophomore from Charlotte, who played at Myers Park. 12-point lead again for NC State.
And Strong is actually Boston College's third leading scorer in ACC play, but he's missed some games and he's trying to work his way back into the lineup.
Jaden Taylor, 10 to shoot. Working in traffic, trying to bounce it out of. Turned it over. Here's Payne. He'll lob. Strong couldn't collect. They kick it for hand. He'll fire. And they scramble for it. It'll be run down on the far side. Kelly for Strong again. Nope. And Hill collects. Marcus Hill averages about 5 rebounds a game in conference play. Does a terrific job for a guy listed at 6'4", who's not even close. Parker at 17 feet. Didn't get the bounce.
The Wolfpack West has not been able to get out in transition as much in this half, which is why their offense is sputtering a little bit.
Yep.
But their defense continues to be very, very good.
7.5 to go on the drive, and the miss that time for hand. Here's Dennis Parker. Layup good. Ends up all the way into Camberwell, but has his third field goal.
Hand drives the ball to the basket, takes himself out of the play, and as a result, NC State is able to get a run out, much like they had throughout the first half.
Dennis Parker's got 6.5. And NC State's lead is 14 in Raleigh when we continue. ACC basketball presented this afternoon by Food Lion, the official grocer of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Well, a series that started December 1967 at Boston Garden. How about that?
There you go.
In an event called the Boston Garden Invitational, when Norm Sloan was coaching the Wolfpack and Bob Cousy was coaching the Eagles. Is renewed here today. NC State trying for their 4th straight win against Boston College, and the Pack trying to snap a 9-game skid here this afternoon. Strong to work out of the timeout against Dontrez Styles and lost it. Wolfpack has led all the way, and they're up 14 with under 7 to go.
Wes, not only have they led all the way, they haven't really been threatened.
16 turnovers, by the way, for BC. Here's O'Connell, 10 to shoot. Tried to bounce it to Middlebrooks. That got kicked by Deion Brown. Shot clock to hold with 9.
Well, O'Connell is back up to his old tricks. He's got 4 assists today, no turnovers. He's done a nice job moving the ball, getting the Wolfpack offense in position.
I thought Kevin Keats was pretty candid with us pregame too, Dan, about where the mentality of his basketball team was. That's hard to do when you've had the sequence like NC State's had. Here's a kick for Taylor, shot fake, 3-ball away. And Styles the rebound, he's going to get called. Oh no, they're going to Pat Driscoll going to whistle Kelly here.
Kelly was backing into him.
That's it. Second on Kelly, sixth on the Eagles. But Kevin Keats, when you've lost 9 straight and 5 have been by 6 or less, okay, the ability to be unfiltered is pretty important.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially when you've had kind of the success they had a year ago. And now, you know, there was some optimism. You're in the top half of the ACC in the preseason poll, things of that nature. That ball got knocked away. It'll stay with State. The idea, though, that you go through a sequence like this, hey, look, you still got basketball to play. There's nobody saying you can't go to the tournament. You determine whether you go to the tournament or not. And I think that's kind of what he was trying to say. And it was almost incumbent upon his players, some of the older guys especially, I think, to kind of renew their ties a little bit about this team.
Well, you certainly don't want to put yourself in a position where you have to win 5 games in the ACC tournament to go to the NCAA tournament every year. But it's obviously possible.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to make the ACC tournament first of all.
Yeah, that's the other issue. Only 15 are going. 3 will stay home this year. That got blocked by Hastings. Terrific swat. Now back for Taylor. 3 pushed up. It's off the mark. Huntley Hatfield battled, and that was last touched, I think, by Styles. Mark Schnurr awarded it promptly to the Eagles with 6:01 to go.
Well, Huntley Hatfield is a tremendous offensive rebounder. I mean, he's got almost, in ACC play, he's got almost as many offensive rebounds as defensive rebounds.
So the lead stays 14. Rebounds are even at 30. Skip for Strong. They got hand on the bench momentarily, and there's a foul on Styles. Second on Dontrez Styles. It's the 7th on NC State with 5:43 to play. And there's Kevin Keats with Levi Watkins, Kareem Richardson, Brett Nelson, the former Florida Gator, all on that bench. And free throws now for Elijah Strong, who a year ago averaged about 3 points and a rebound in conference play. Only played 7 games in the ACC a year ago, and he missed the front end. So here's the rub on this. If he misses here, Dan, oh no, his front end got knocked out of bounds. If he misses both in the second half, and they've been pretty good shooting them, they were already looking for the chicken.
Well, but they just wanted to throw was 1-1, yeah. So they weren't looking for the chicken yet.
Taylor for Huntley Hatfield. They'll try and drive Kelly, pull up at 12 feet, and the rebound for Payne. Here goes Payne through traffic, scoops, got his own miss and a foul. 2 shots coming, I believe, for Payne. Styles is 3rd, 8th on the Wolfpack.
The NC State offense has not been as good in the second half as the first half, and that's because they haven't had the steals and create the turnovers, but their defense in the half court has really forced Boston College into some tough opportunities.
Yep. 3rd point for Payne. Don't forget, Thursday night doubleheader of women's basketball on ACC Network. Alyssa Usby in Carolina at Syracuse at 6 o'clock, and then Virginia Tech welcomes Stanford to the Castle. 8 p.m. Thursday night, presented by Ally on ACC Network. Payne hit them both. He's got 4. Been averaging 10 in the last 2 for Earl Grant. 12-point game again ahead of 5 minutes. 3-on pass is checked into the game. Dennis Parker Jr. on the floor. Jaden Taylor and Ben Middlebrooks. Here's pass. And he'll shove it to O'Connell with 6 to shoot. Now Middlebrooks challenging Hastings with the right hand. Ben Middlebrooks, 2nd field goal.
It's very important for NC State that they get something out of their big guys inside.
Yep.
And Middlebrooks has had a fairly nice game today.
Strong on the hard dribble against Parker, and a foul. Hastings dunk follow will not count. Instead, Dennis Parker Jr., his 2nd foul. 9th on the Wolfpack.
Now you have a chance for chicken.
Parker Jr., by the way, is from Maggie Walker High School in Richmond. Dan, the Dragons, I think, is their nickname. Here's Strong. He's 67%. First one, no good.
Is that where Clyde Austin was?
That's where I was going with that.
Okay, all right.
Clyde the Glide was from Maggie Walker. Well, here we are. Elijah Strong determines if they get chicken. Free throw away and no good. And Payne thought he had the rebound. No, stepped out of bounds. It'll belong to the Wolfpack. And Earl Grant is furious with Jerry Heater, and there's a technical foul on Earl Grant.
He's going to get tossed.
And he might buy another one.
He's got to be very careful.
So out of bounds, the ball to NC State, and now a technical foul on Earl Grant. 2 shots and the ball anyway.
Now on the miss, watch the ball head over to the sideline.
Payne stepped out of bounds.
Well, there was a little bit of contact there, Wes, but certainly a foul could have been called, but and I think Earl Grant's just frustrated.
O'Connell is now 3 for 6 at the line. And the ball was belonging to the Wolfpack anyway. 15-point game with 4.5 to go. Eagles have lost 3 straight, the last 2 in a combined 5 overtimes, and 9 of their last 10.
They would love to get this to overtime somehow today, Wes, but that doesn't seem likely.
Nope. Here's O'Connell into the corner, fall away on the baseline. And the rebound. Donald Hand's going to need to go on a tear here and quick. Been a pretty quiet second half compared to his first half. He's got 19. There's Payne, a 3. That's good. Fred Payne's first field goal. He's got now 7 in the game. And it's a 12-point game, and a timeout is taken by Kevin Keats with 3:49 to go. So NC State burns the timeout. 12-point lead. Somebody takes home a win. I would love to know the Jeremiah Wilkinson ticket count today at McCamish Pavilion. Here's the inbounds to O'Connell against BC pressure. Eagles trail by 12. Under 4 to go. You followed BC at all, and you know what they did against Florida State and others. You'd say this is their sweet spot. We'll see. Some of this is going to be on how NC State handles it too, Dan. 10 to shoot for Marcus Hill at the top. Double team coming, skip to the right corner. Dennis Parker Jr. Too strong with the 3, venting the rebound.
Well, Boston College does not have a lot of time, and again, NC State does a great job getting back on defense. Nothing easy so far for the Eagles.
Here's Payne into traffic, kind of forced it up, got deflected and out of bounds. Last touch by the Wolfpack. 17 to shoot. I have no idea where Fred Payne was going.
I don't think Fred Payne did either. But Wes, that's the type of thing we've seen, not that exact play, but whenever BC drives into the lane, they draw a complete crowd.
So here's Kelly out of the corner. 3 bounded away, and what do we got? We got bodies, 3 of them down, 2 in the white. Pat Driscoll has what?
Lane jump ball.
And possession to Wolfpack. There goes Dennis Parker all the way to the basket. Oh, and he had it locked away. Turned over. Oh, Kevin Keats fired up his own team. Didn't take better care of it. Hand a deep 3. Donald Hand drops home another one. 9.5, 22 in the game. Now they're back to single digits with 2:37 to go. Here's Hill now.
It's going to get a 10-second violation.
And they got it front court just in time. Parker. Over to Jaden Taylor. Now to O'Connell. Earl Grant and his staff shouting defensive instructions. 7 to shoot. You don't want to foul now if you're BC. Here's Middlebrooks on the pass. Strong layup, good. Nicely done, O'Connell there. 6 for Middlebrooks. Back to an 11-point game.
Middlebrooks didn't finish one early in the game, but he's finished them all since then.
Here's Venning, bothered by Middlebrooks. He lost the rebound. They're going to call held ball, and that'll give it to BC. So it's an 11-point game with 1:56 to go. Boston College going to get the ball. Boy, Donald Hand knocks that 3 down, and all of a sudden you felt this building get a little nervous, didn't it?
When you're on a 9-game losing streak, you can understand the nerves, but there's only 1 minute and 56 seconds left.
Kelly puts it in play. This is Roger McFarland. There are 4 legitimate three-point shooters on the floor. Here's Donald Hand. That's a 2. Front rim miss. Kane the rebound. Couldn't finish it. Out front, Kelly. 3-ball away. Back rim. Look at O'Connell go get it. Seconds to go in Raleigh. Here's O'Connell. 12 to shoot. Off the Middlebrook screen. Bounce for Ben again. Backdoor cut. Parker foul. On McFarland's 4th. That'll be the 9th against Boston College, or 8th against Boston College.
Of course, Middlebrooks won't get an assist for that, Wes, but that was a heck of a pass.
Dennis Parker Jr., who's got 6 here in the second half. He only had 2 points last Saturday at Stanford. Didn't play the other night against Louisville. He's got 7 today. And Dan, he only had 5 total points in the previous 6 games prior to Wednesday night. And he's got 7 today. Goes back to what Kevin Keith said. Somebody else has got to help, right? We talked about expanding the roster earlier. Parker got 1 of the 2. It's a 12-point game with 72 seconds left.
Like Wes, we mentioned before, they've played 10 guys, and 10 guys have scored.
Yep. Here's Kelly. Down a dozen with a minute to go. Kick out Venning on the line. That's a 2. And a foul will be called on the Wolfpack. And it's against Marcus Hill. 2nd on Hill. That is 10 now on NC State. With 55.4 left to go. So a couple of free throws for Roger McFarland. First trip today. He's 18 of 30 this year, which works out to 60%. BC came in 15th in conference play at 70%. And the free throw good. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, our ACC network coverage of the Shriners Children's Clearwater Softball Invitational continues. Number 4 UCLA in Virginia. Early Sunday morning, 10 a.m. from Clearwater on ACC Network, streaming live on the ESPN app. First points of the day for McFarland. And out comes Dennis Parker, and in comes Breon Pass. Another ball handler on the floor for Kevin Keats. Dan?
Absolutely. And Pass hadn't missed a free throw in ACC play. Now, of course, he's only taken 3.
Got to get it in bounds. They do to Hill. Right back to Breon Pass.
You got to foul, and you got to foul right away.
50 seconds left. It's a 10-point game. Middlebrooks is a 73% free throw shooter. Here's Jaden Taylor.
BC just going to let it play out, Wes. Even if you foul, there's not a lot you're going to get done here with 35 seconds left.
Taylor toward the corner. 4 to shoot. Foul line, fall away. Nope, off the mark. Hill tried to keep it alive. Benning's got it. 23 seconds left. Shot clock's off in Raleigh. Payne and a block called on Taylor. That'll be his 4th. Kevin Keats will soon just let BC shoot, right?
Yes. You want your guys to keep playing, and Taylor has had such a good game defensively, trying to get in position to draw the charge.
So Payne to the line. Fred Payne today at the stripe is 4 for 4, making 5 for 5. He's got 8 points. Boston College is back at Chestnut Hill for 2 games. Tuesday night against Virginia Tech, next Saturday against Georgia Tech. NC State will go to Chapel Hill on Wednesday night. And then Wake Forest is here next Saturday. 70-62.
Wes, a lot of people don't understand what kind of a rivalry NC State and Wake Forest is.
And this will do it. Wolfpack's going to win and snap the 9-game skid. 70-62 the final. NC State to 3-11 in the league. Now 10 wins on the campaign. Boston College falls for the 4th straight time, and for the 10th time in the last 11 games. They are 2-12 and tied at the bottom of the ACC with Miami. Thanks to Lucas Craycraft, our producer, Caleb Waters, our director. Great to spend Saturday afternoons with Dan Bonner. West Durham reminding you the final. The Wolfpack 70 and BC 62. Coming up next, Georgia Tech and Cal. Here's Joel Gadet and Michael Carter-Williams.
NC State can feel it. Something that has never happened in this league. 5 games in 5 days.
A remarkable, astounding week for the North Carolina State Wolfpack, and let the celebration begin in Raleigh.
Big thanks to the brains of the operation, Jake, there. Okay, here's what the bottom 5 of the ACC standings looked like heading into today. A reminder, the 3 teams at the bottom when the regular season is done doesn't go to the ACC tournament in Charlotte. NC State right now will not have a chance to defend its ACC championship where it sits, but if Kevin Keatts has learned anything from last year, you never know what can happen one game at a time. So that brings us to today in Raleigh. Boston College in the building. They too were trying to see if they can work their way into the conference tournament. All those faces from the Final Four team in the building. Donhan Jr. doing everything he could for his Eagles to keep them in this one, but NC State was not going to let this one slip away.
No, Donald Jr. was outstanding, but NC State was on their P's and Q's today.
Look how has the phone out. DJ Burns loves it. 2 minutes later, Dennis Parker Jr. on the fast break. All of his 7 points in the second half, and they were important for the Wolfpack. They snap a 9-game losing streak, 70-62 over Boston College, the final score. And how about a day for Jaden Taylor? 19 points, 4 steals for the Pack. He was so good after the game, he got to sit down with Wes Durham and Dan Bonner.
I just wanted to come back and get a win for the guys, man. We haven't won in a long time, and obviously with DJ and both DJs and Casey in the building, like everybody just had a little more energy, I'm not gonna lie. So we couldn't spoil that for them, man. They back for like a week, so I just wanted to win for them, honestly.
How important was it for the team that you go out in the first minute and get 3 steals?
Yeah, I mean, just starting with energy, you know. It's kind of how we start, we finish, honestly. When we start slow, we finish slow. When we start fast, we finish fast. So Coach Keith's been preaching to us all day, just come out there and play. And I just wanted to have a lot of energy and just try to do my part.